It's that time of month again where we get to talk about my reading wrap up for the last month. So this is my reading wrap up for April of 2025. In April, I read 16 books, which was 6,047 pages. This was not my highest reading month of the year, but it was also not my lowest reading month of the year yet. I read a mixture of audiobooks, physical books, and also some Kindle reads. So I'll get through them as I can. I don't know if you can see it in the camera frame or not. I definitely just shook my desk, but I have a stack of books here that I'll be getting to because I do have the physical books that I read on my desk. The first book I read for the month of April was Recipe for Rivals by Casey Stockton. This was a 4.5 read and I listened to it on Spotify. I thought it was just a cute read to listen to while I was in the car. Super sweet, and if you're ever looking for a little cooking relating romance book, this might be the one for you. The next book I read was The Mark of Athena by Rick Riordan. This was also 4.5 stars. This was the thickest book I read in the month of April, and I have been very, very slowly working my way through the Heroes of Olympus series, so it was nice to kind of go back to that. I've had the whole series on my shelf for a while now, but it was nice to pick something off the shelf and really get to it. The next book I read was called Ice to Meet You by Vicky Hilton. This was a 3.75 star read. It was not my favorite. It wasn't the worst. It was just kind of existing. I luckily got it from Book Sirens, which I think I mentioned in my last video. So I was able to read it for free, which I greatly appreciate. But I would say if you want like an easy read and just a little quick read, because it was pretty short, it's a good way to go. The next book I read was Sunrise on the Reaping. You may remember I recently just finished rereading the original series, but now I am back to reading the new books, and Sunrise on the Reaping was a 5-star read. Absolutely amazing. I loved getting to have the connections between Haymitch and previous characters you've already seen, and getting to see them at a younger age was really cool. The next book I read was You Between the Lines, which I did read it physically, but it's already tucked back there, so I didn't really want to have to dig it out. But You Between the Lines was such a good read. It was a 5-star read. It's by Katie Naiman, and it follows a girl as she's going through her master's program for writing. And having done a master's program for writing, there are certain parts I definitely related to, and I just really appreciated getting to read it, and just like, I don't know, it literally made me cry at one point. I just felt so connected to the characters, so that was great. The next book I read was Fan Service by Rosie Danan. I actually have an Afterlight subscription, so this is the Afterlight book, I believe. Yeah, Afterlight exclusive, which is signed. And this is what it looks like if you're wondering. It's got some beautiful artwork, and then really cool covers. That's one of the things I love about Afterlight is the covers. So here he is wolfing out, and then her as her pet job. And then the back is a different scene of them in the woods. And the back of the book is like fan club merch and stuff. It follows an actor who ends up going through what his character he plays on a show is going through and turning into a werewolf. And then the next 4 books I read was the Off to the Races or the Gold Rush Ranch series by Elsie Silver. I don't know if you've seen my previous videos, but I have been reading a lot of Elsie Silver and cowboy romances this year so far. So I have all 4 of them. Off to the Races, I rated as 4.5 stars. Then it goes A Photo Finish, which was 5 stars. Then The Front Runner, which was also 5 stars. And lastly, A False Start, which was also 5 stars. So I've definitely been in a romance mood recently, and also apparently a cowboy romance mood. I really love how the books look together. You can see they definitely had intentionality there, and I appreciate that. But I am holding them backwards from how they're supposed to be held, I'm realizing. The next book I read was an audiobook called Some Like It Scott by Pepper Basham. That was a 4-star read. Just a cute little Scottish romance book. I enjoyed it. It was a nice read. It's set in modern day instead of historical, which I always prefer modern day if you can't tell already. The next book I read was called Whisked Away. This is by Noelle Bailey. It was also a 4-star read, and another one I have been lucky enough to get through Book Siren, so I really appreciate that, and I do highly suggest it. I can't wait for the next book by it. It's supposed to be a part of a series, and this was the first one, so I'm excited. The next book I read is Here for the Wrong Reasons by Annabelle Paulson and Lydia Wang. This was a 3-star read, and that's kind of nice. I did not like one of the main characters, and it's really hard for me to not like one of the main characters and still get through the book, but it was a required read for my book club I joined recently, so I got through it, but mostly just because everyone went to complain together, and I appreciated that. The next book I read was a graphic novel for Lore Olympus, Volume 1. I've already gone ahead and ordered Volume 2 and Volume 3, but I don't have it yet. I found this at one of my favorite used bookstores here in Pittsburgh, which is called the Cozy Corner Bookstore, and it was on their $5 shelf, so I was very excited about that. And I literally read it the day I bought it. And that was also Independent Bookstore Day, so if you didn't shop locally, you should have. If not, do it now, because you can still support your local booksellers. And then the last 2 books I read in April were Done and Dusted and Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage. I have gone ahead and finished the series since then, so you'll see the next 2 books in my May recap. But this was 5 stars and 4.5 stars respectively. And again, back in those cowboy romance books. So now I gotta find something else to read, since I've read all the Elsie Silver and this series now. So if you have any recommendations, please let me know in the comments below. And if you are interested in finding out my thoughts on the last 2 books of the series and also just what else I'm reading this year, please subscribe. I hope you had a great time. And if you have any questions about any of these books or want to know more about how I got into Book Siren or Afterlight, ask the questions below. I'd be happy to talk. Thank you.